Okay, so I saw a lot of people since June doing this tag, and I wanted to do it for so long because this is my first year doing it. But I was angry because I am neurodivergent and I cannot cope with the fact that people are posting a mid-year freak out, but you're not done with the sixth month of the year. So it's like there are 12 months. You need to do six and then six. So yeah, I was convinced that I had to wait until I read all of my June books, and I was going to post the video in July after my wrap up. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is my wrap up of the books I read in the first half of the year. Stay with me and discover if I go and look in my story graph to see how am I doing. So yeah, my year, how do you call that, like my goal this year, my goal every year it's 25 books because I think that's a perfect number, that or 12, but it was 25 because I knew I was not going to stay at 12. And I kind of went a little crazy and read like 91 books. To this date I read more, but I'm talking about the books until June, so bear with me. Okay, so these are the questions of the mid-year freakout and the answers, my answers, yeah, whatever. So my mom called me and I interrupted the video, but I'm back. So the first question, this says, best book you've read so far in 2022. If you start barking, I swear to God. Okay, so I cannot choose one book. So of course I had to answer with like 5, or yeah, I think there are 5. So my favorite books this year are Along with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I talked so much about this book. It's about mental health, and it has like a love story that's wonderful. And I will not talk more because yeah, I talked enough, I think. Another book I liked a lot, it's a classic, and it's Wuthering Heights. I really, really loved Wuthering Heights. I cannot stop talking about it. And now I compare every gothic like classic I read, every gothic book I read, I compare it to Wuthering Heights. Like Rebecca didn't live up to the hype. Jane Eyre, it was okay. But Emily Bronte, I needed more books by her, and there's not more books. We only have like poems, and that is not enough. But yeah, I really loved Wuthering Heights. Another one, it's a play that's here. I know I said I was not going to show this book more, but it's gotta make a comeback. So The Importance of Being Earnest, it's one of my favorite plays in the world. And also there's another one that's here. I also like An Ideal Husband. Yeah, I really like An Ideal Husband, but I like more The Importance of Being Earnest. Okay, so I'm gonna read you a quote because that's how much I love it. I love it. Oh my god, it has so many great quotes. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. One of my favorite quotes. Oh my god, yeah. I'm glad I found that one. Okay, so I also liked Persuasion. That's another classic. I don't have a physical copy, by Jane Austen. I really liked Persuasion. And it's not, I don't even like Anne that much. Like, she's not that likable. Like, she's likable, but she's not like, whoa. But I don't know. I really like the story, and it made me realize I enjoy good second chance romance. So there's that. And also I really like Sorcery of Thorns, and this book I talked about it in my wrap up. So yeah, those are my favorite books of the year so far. And the worst book I read so far in 2020, yeah, I'm not counting rereads in any of these categories because that's unfair. And I've been rereading books. I reread like 3 books so far, I think, or 4. So yeah, the worst book I read so far in 2022, I have 2, because of course we gotta balance things. So yeah, I hated All Your Perfects. I gave it in the end 2 stars, but maybe it deserves less. And The Silent Patient, also 2 stars. And maybe they deserve less, but I don't want to be mean, and I need to stop that. I need to stop being afraid of being mean. But yeah, I hated those 2 books. I'm not even gonna tell you what they're about. Like Are You Perfect? It's like a second chance romance. And after reading Persuasion, I said like, oh my god, yeah. I don't know why I thought like Colin Hoover was going to live up to the hype of Jane Austen, to the talent. I was so crazy. And The Silent Patient, I wanted to trust a thriller written by a man. That was my mistake. And it was my mistake to trust the hype in both books. So yeah. The best sequel you've read so far in 2020. So I haven't been reading like many series, but I've read like the 2 first books in the Kiss Quotient by Helen. It's that Helen Wong? I think that's the other. I don't remember. But yeah, I read The Bright Test and I really liked it. It was okay. I had my criticisms about it, but I talked about it in a wrap up in February, I think, when I read it. So yeah. And I read Heartstopper, all the volumes. And also, my first book of the year was Burning God. That's the 3rd book in the Poppy War series. And it's freaking amazing. If you haven't picked up the Poppy War, it's like historical. It has fantasy, adult. It's really intense. If you hear a siren, ignore it. But yeah, it's really intense, but it's enjoyable. And we follow a corruption arc. I talked about it in my corruption arc video. I talked about everything already. Okay, so we're going to ignore that. Okay, so new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. So I had Yerba Buena here, but I read it. I had Book Lovers here, but I read it. Ouch. So yeah, I have new books. I have 3 books that are Book of Night by Holly Black. I'm still not sure I want to read it, so that's why it's here still, like there in that list, because I haven't read it. And To Paradise, that's by the author of A Little Life. I'm not remembering their name right now. What's the name? Oh my god, I feel so dumb. I had it in my hand right now. But yeah, the author of To Paradise, and On Sun Swallowing by Dakota Warren. She is a booktuber also, but like she's an author. And I want to read her poetry collection. I think that's a poetry. It's only poetry, right? I'm not sure now. But yeah, I want to read On Sun Swallowing because I've seen some quotes and I really liked it. So my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I have, again, 3. There were 4, but Chain of Thorns, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, I have The Atlas Paradox. That's the sequel in the Atlas 6 series. And I have Babel by R.F. Huang. That's the author of the Poppy War. And it's like dark academia. And it's like historical. All the things I love. And I have Fall Lady Fortune, which is like the new series connected to These Violent Delights that Chloe Gong is putting out. So my biggest disappointment in 2020, and of course I have 2 books. I have Hook, Line, and Sinker, which is one of the worst books I read in my life. And it happened one summer, was not that great, but Hook, Line, and Sinker takes the crown for sucky book. So yeah. Oh yeah, that's another sequel I read, but it's not a good sequel. So, and also Passing. I was expecting more from a book like Passing, and it didn't deliver. It's not as bad as Hook, Line, and Sinker, obviously, but yeah, I was just expecting more. Okay, so biggest surprise. Okay, so I have 3 books. 3? 1, 2. Yeah, 3. I have My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Like, I knew the plot, but I thought it was going to be like crazy, but I wasn't going to like it as much as I liked it. And I also have Clap When You Land. I did not know I was going to like it. I just saw a short book and I said I'm gonna read it, and yeah, I was surprised to say the least. And then there's Yerba Buena, which I knew I was going to like, because I was so excited about reading it, but I like it lived up to my expectations and it surpassed them. So you know what? It's amazing. Next question says favorite new author. It can be a debut or new to me. So I have four. I have Emily Bronte, yeah, the author of Wuthering Heights. I have Lena Fargo, that's the author of They Never Learn. I really enjoy her writing. And Sylvia Plath, because I never read her before until this year, and I read a poetry collection and The Bell Jar. And Alice Oseman, the author of Heartstopper, I really enjoyed. I never read one of her novels, but I read Heartstopper, so that's enough for me. And also, the show, it's amazing, so. Newest fictional crush. I have Rinaldo Damiani, that's from Alone with You in the Ether. Nathaniel Thorne, that's from Sorcery of Thorns. And Nora Stephens, she's from Book Lovers. My newest favorite fictional character, I have to say that the ones I put in fictional character are also newest, like crush, fictional crush, but I wanted to put them in like favorite fictional characters, so that's why they're not like, I don't want to repeat names, but I have Henry Winter. If you don't know who Henry Winter is, he's my boy from The Secret History. There's also Scarlett from They Never Learn, Lena Fargo, and Catherine from Pinkerton from Heartless. I really liked her. As you can see, I like villains or anti-heroes. So yeah, that's me. And a book that made me cry. Okay, so I have two. A Man Called Uva and Sadie, yeah. A Man Called Uva had me sobbing like a baby, and Sadie too had me cry. A book that made you happy, Book Lovers, of course, Heartstopper, and My Mechanical Romance. My Mechanical Romance, oh my god, I love that book. So, yeah. The most beautiful book you bought so far or received. So, I haven't been buying lots of books, but I bought, for example, at the beginning of the year, like I bought in January some books. I bought this one and A Little Life, and I bought this one, which is I think the prettiest one I have, and it matched my nails always. I love this, like, nail polish. So yeah, this is the prettiest book I have in general, not only this year. I also bought The Godfather. That's a pretty copy, but it's very man, it's like I think it's a mass market paperback, so yeah. Oh yeah, I also bought Animal Farm, but it was a gift to someone else. So if I find the cover, which I think I will find, I put it in the screen so you can see how beautiful it's Animal Farm. It's like a little pig. After reading that book, I am kind of scared of pigs, but yeah, enjoy the picture. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I want to read all of my physical copies, which, believe it or not, are not that much. Like I want to reread some of them, but like I almost read all of them, so I need to buy more books. And also Legendborn. I really want to read Legendborn because I heard the best things about it, and I really want to check it out. Also, I have like a check it out. I also have like a list of corruption art books, and I want to read them all. So yeah, that too. And I added one more question to my tag, and now we're gonna discuss it. So basically, I'm trying to read step by step all of the books in the Roddy Gilmore list, like Roddy Gilmore reading list. And even though I don't want to read all of them, there's some books I will not be reading. I want to read most of them, so I'm gonna tell you now which ones I read so far this year. Okay, so I read, and my favorites, like I have three favorites, which are Little Women, Wuthering Heights, and The Godfather. That's my favorite from that list. And so I also read Sense and Sensibility, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Bell Jar, Girl Interrupted, The Virgin Suicides, Macbeth, Carrie, Gone Girl, Alice in Wonderland, it was a reread, A Room of One's Own, Hamlet, Jane Eyre, Great Expectations, Othello, Brokeback Mountain, Death of a Salesman, 1994, and Rebecca. That's how I'm doing so far. I read many classics. And now, just to add a little, let's see my graphs in this story graph. Okay, so that's our like. Okay, so I mostly read emotional and dark books and some reflective. That's like an estimate, okay? And the pacing, mostly read medium paced books, but I read many slow paced and almost the same fast paced like with slow paced, but I mostly read medium paced. And in page numbers, 5% are more than 500 pages, 42% are less than 300, and 53% it's between 300 and 500. I read 5% nonfiction, the rest it's fiction, and my genres are contemporary, classics, romance. That's many of the classics are romance, so not that there's anything wrong with romance, but I haven't been reading that much romance like last year, like contemporary romance. So there's that. Literary, LGBTQ, and yeah, then it's young adult, and there are lower percentages. The authors I read the most are Oscar Wilde, Alice Oseman, Willie Shakes, Olivia Blake, Sally Rooney, and Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh, look at Jane Austen. I only read 2 books by Jane Austen. Also, you can see like my graph. I'm gonna put it in the screen. It's going to say 94 books, but ignore the last 3 books. They don't matter. And my average rating is so high. It's 4.29. I swear to God, I do not give 5 stars to every book. Like I think I am good at rating books, but I'm realizing like how with The Silent Patient and All Your Perfects, even though they deserve 1 star, I cannot give it to them because I feel like that's so mean and I don't want to be mean. And it's like I don't want the authors to feel bad, but also I shouldn't give a fuck. But it's a whole conundrum. So yeah, I want to say something. If when I put the graphs in the screen they say more than 94 books, I'm sorry. That's because when I edited this book, I may have finished the book I'm currently reading, which is The Binding, if you want to know. So yeah, but we're going to ignore July, okay? Don't look at it. I'm not looking, you're not looking. It's not going to change the graph that much, and I honestly don't give a fuck. We're halfway through the year. I just want to be done with it. And yeah. Okay, bye. See ya.